We have a lot of Toronto Raptors news to cover, as there's reports from Adrian Wojnarowski and Josh Lewenberg updating us on the Kevin Durant to Toronto situation. We have Nick Nurse naming 3 guys on the Summer League team that are likely to make the big Toronto Raptors roster, and pretty interesting, a couple of the names he mentioned given how Summer League has played out. We have another superstar available on the market and an entire game of Summer League that we have to react and break down in this video. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors side, just breaking down the latest Toronto Raptors news. And as mentioned in the intro, we got a lot of stuff to cover, but the first thing we're talking about is the Toronto Raptors Game 2 of Summer League. And Dalano showing off a 3-point stroke in a Summer League loss. This game was ugly. It was ugly. They showed some promise in the first half, got it going, especially the first quarter, right? We saw Dalano come out extremely hot. That's what the title of this sort of segment is saying. It's name dropping Dalano. He came out. I'll pull up the box score here as I'm talking about some guys, but Dalano had 18 points in this game, had 5 assists, 4 rebounds, did a much better job when compared to the last game at not turning over the basketball, played a little bit more in control, 2 steals in this game. So we'll start off with the positives in Dalano, but the real exciting thing when you look at that box score that'll get you going is Dalano went 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. You can see that number there, right? And Dalano a guy, if he can get the 3-point shot rocking, if he can get, a little bit more consistent with that jumper, because we saw him have electrifying moments with the main roster last season, coming out, just up in the energy, driving the lanes, unstoppable man-to-man coverage, but then other teams would sort of adjust and move to a 2-3 zone and really take Dalano out of his game. So the fact that the 3-point shot is looking nicer now, one of those shots was a bank shot, so you can't really count one of those threes. I'm throwing it out there. If you're banking in a 3, that's a bit tough. But that's the OG's moment of this Summer League game. Dalano starting off a dribble pull, bank 3. Then that's encouraging. So the 3-point shot's looking good. Off the dribble shots are still not there just yet for Dalano, at least in this game today, but I like the progression. The 3-point shot, the spot up threes, even though he's hitting dribble pull up threes, which is interesting, but in the lane they still look a little bit shaky. Some bad misses from Dalano just pulling up in the middies, but overall strong. I'm happy with what I saw from Dalano in this game. And to keep on the positive trains, Jeff Doughton, man, this guy is an absolute hooper. Looking at his stats right now, 16 points, only 2 assists in this game. I had 10, I believe, in the other game. Obviously, our 6'3" guard. Shot 7-11 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. Doughton's out here making a little bit of a push. Now, I'll talk about who Nick Nurse mentioned as likely making the roster spots in the next segment, but Doughton's a guy I'm really encouraged by. Looks very steady, and the Toronto Raptors need a backup point guard. Obviously, some people are expecting that to be Flynn. Some people are expecting that to be Dalano, but Doughton looks like a guy that could just be steady. And, if Banton's still maybe a year away, he's 25 years old, Doughton is. Looks like he can shoot the 3. Looks like he's a good decision maker with facilitating. Plays solid defense from what I've seen in Summer League. I'm encouraged by this guy. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on Doughton have been in this game. But he was pretty solid, but not all positives, actually, there is one more positive. I'm getting, the spicy Pelé of the day. We're going through all the segments in this quick intro, this quick recap, but Hawkins coming in at the end of this game today, and he was knocking down some shots. Those 3-point shots look pretty solid there from Ryan Hawkins had 9 points in this one, went 3-5 from the 3-point line. Having some more shooters, right? Maybe if he has a big game, get some more minutes in the next one, then maybe he'll be pushing for a roster spot. So, shout out to Hawkins. You love when random guys come in and start splashing threes, but we'll end it off with a little golden kazoos. And I keep forgetting to add back the golden kazoos, but a couple golden kazoos could be handed out. It could be going to me for even comparing the Champagny to Armani Brooks discussion, because Armani did not look too hot tonight. As he looked sort of with the Raptors this season, hot and cold from the 3-point line, and tonight, didn't really have it from out there. Only shot 2 for 6 from the 3-point line, had 8 points. And when the threes aren't falling, Armani Brooks, even though he plays solid defense, even though he plays within the flow of the offense, or when the threes aren't going, it's weird going the back and forth, riding that Armani Brooks wave. So he's going to need a couple big shooting nights in order to get back in the conversation when fighting with other guys for the roster spots. But tough game there, but the Golden Kazoo I'd probably throw out to the guy that a lot of people are expecting to make the roster given the contract he just signed, but DJ Wilson, the box score doesn't show it. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I guess the 6 turnovers definitely show it, but he just didn't look that great from the eye test in this one. The defense was a little bit subpar. The turnovers were bad. Even though he knocked down 2 threes, which is encouraging, you'd expect the veteran of the group, right? The oldest guy on our summer league team to come out with the most pro experience. I don't know if he's officially the oldest, but definitely the most experienced summer league guy on this Raptors team, right? To come out and just, even if he's not putting up big numbers, just be a steady presence. And tonight, looked like he was rushing some stuff. Didn't look like he was playing within the flow of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there for DJ Wilson. But this game was kind of a stinker, especially in the second half, so I don't want to dwell on it too much. I put it as a segment in a video, not just a whole reaction like I did the first game. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts on this Summer League game. But that sort of feeds us into the next topic of discussion. Nick Nurse speaking on the Raptors that will likely make the team. Now, I'm going to be referencing a Josh Lewenberg article just that discusses a lot of things, including the Kevin Durant rumors or reports. He's reporting all this stuff, and what Nick Nurse essentially said in this quote and all that is coming from this article. But essentially, he broke down that, how Nick Nurse talks and all that sort of stuff. I'll read the quote verbatim here. I would imagine all 3 of those guys have a really good chance of being on the roster. And he was referring to Dalano Banton, who we knew. Dalano Banton's coming back on the squad. I think the potential is too much. Canadian showed too many flashes of greatness last season to cut. He brought back Champagnie, which I was very happy to hear.
Yeah.
Given the fact that he's injured in Summer League, it looked like he'd be fighting for one of those positions. But, Champagnie's a dude that the rebounding ability for a guard, the ability to knock down the three-point shot, the defensive intangibles, right? I really like Justin Champagnie's potential for our squad. But the other name he mentioned is DJ Wilson, who I know is surprising a few people. It's surprising a few people because you look at the roster sort of situation right now, and as mentioned in previous videos, there's not a lot of space. Obviously, I think everyone's just under the assumption Koloko is getting picked up, so we can put that to bed. Koloko's definitely staying on this roster as well. He's a guy in the Summer League team that we know is going to get signed, but Banton's definitely there, and then it looks like there's really one spot, unless you're going to throw Champagnie as a two-way guy, unless you're throwing someone else as a two-way guy, but Champagnie and Wilson would sort of be fighting for that final roster spot if Koloko and Dalano Banton have been added there. I think Champagnie would guaranteed be a guy, and, obviously Armoni Brooks is NBA experience, right? Played for the Houston Rockets for a couple seasons. Wilson's been with the Bucks for a while, played with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't imagine 2 of those guys to be looking for a 2-way contract with the team. And if I threw a name out there, I'd be looking at Doughton to fill in with one of those 2-way spots. Now, he's 25 himself, but it's interesting they threw Wilson's name out there. And Josh Lewenberg also mentioned in the article that they could potentially waive Svi Mykhailiuk, eat the cap hit, and just... because he is signed for this season, but if we waive him, it's only like $1 million contract. It's roughly around that number. So we could waive him, eat the cap, and then sign one of the guys we like more in the deep bench. So maybe that's a way for Wilson and Champagnie to get on there for one of those finals roster spots, or a big trade happens. But let me know what you guys think on Nurse saying that in the comments below. That segues us into our next discussion. Our next topic, obviously, Raptors, they're on the quest. They're on that quest for Kevin Durant. Masai Ujiri will not stop trying to finesse his way into KD, playing chess, not checkers, not giving up Scotty. And this is something that we knew. This is something that we've known for a while now. It came out from Michael Grange last week. I broke it down again from Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report, but obviously, Michael Grange, ever since the Suggs stuff, ever since he made me buy a Jalen Suggs cake, we drafted Scotty Barnes, right? Ever since that point, been a little bit skeptical on everything Michael Grange reports. Jake Fisher, he's a meme by how much stuff he gets wrong, even though he is an insider, right? I've seen some breakdowns on... Woj and everyone reports things when they're absolutely official. Jake Fisher reports things when there's just talks or rumbling. So we did talk about him bringing up how Scotty Barnes wasn't available, but now it's official. It's been Woj bombed. It's been thrown out there, the sealed stamp of Woj, essentially saying that Scotty Barnes is officially, it's a non-starter for the Toronto Raptors. This is something coming directly from Woj via via ESPN talks, and this was followed up by Josh Bloomberg in that article as well, essentially saying that the Raptors are refusing to give up Scottie Barnes. Now, this is something that we knew, and I want to get the stuff we knew out of the way. We did have another update sort of built on top of that, right? Bloomberg sort of built on the stuff that Woj mentioned, but apparently the Raptors are also unwilling to give the maximum amount of draft picks, the maximum amount of draft capital going to Brooklyn in a potential KD trade. Now that would either mean four pick swaps and 3 first-round picks, no swaps in general, or flipped, right? So 4 official first-round picks and 3 pick swaps. So the Raptors are unwilling to give up that amount of draft capital in a Kevin Durant trade, which would make sense because in order to match Kevin Durant's salary, we're going to have to likely give up 2, or at worst, we'd have to give up OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., likely, to make the cap work. Maybe the Nets would be willing to take on Birch and Thaddeus Young, Chatty Thaddeus, in a potential trade back. But in all likelihood, any deal that's going down will involve OG Anunoby and the star boy Gary Trent Jr. going back to the Nets. So adding 7 first-round picks, 4 first-round picks and 3 swaps, or 3 firsts and 4 swaps on top of that, that makes sense. Why Masai Ujiri? He's no fool. He's not going to be scammed by the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are the team that gets finesse, not the finessers. So that's it's going to be an interesting situation. So that's essentially the updates from Josh Bloomberg and Adrian Wojnarowski. Nothing crazy. Half of it we already knew from minor reporters, but it's nice to hear. Get the little celebrations going for the fact that Woj reported officially Scottie Barnes will not be on the table. So we'll get the balloons and we'll give a Scottie Barnes award to Adrian Wojnarowski for just essentially appeasing us Raptors fans, keeping us level-headed, keeping us chilling. But the next report we're diving into is another superstar on the trade market, and I see a lot of Raptors fans discussing the possibility of switching our assets over to this star, and this is also coming from Woj, another little Woj bomb popping up, essentially saying that after previously shutting down inquiries on moving all-star guard Donovan Mitchell, rival teams say the Utah Jazz are showing a willingness to listen on potential trade scenarios, according to ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski. So that's a pretty big bomb. That's a pretty big Woj bomb in this NBA. Obviously, it doesn't have a direct effect on the Raptors. He did wear a Raptors jersey in a dunk contest, so the seeds are there to potentially come to the Raptors. However, I don't see Toronto potentially trading for Donovan Mitchell. We have Fred VanVleet on the roster. We have Gary. The Utah Jazz said that they were interested in Gary Trent Jr. I know Donovan Mitchell puts in those 50 pieces in the playoffs, lots of potential, all that sort of stuff. But given the fact we just got rid of sort of our small backcourt, getting rid of Lowry, I think we like the long boy lineup of, Trent at the 2, OG at the 3, that style of, guard wing players, rather than going back to a small lineup of Fred and Donovan Mitchell, even though it would be cool. Donovan Mitchell is definitely an upgrade over the star boy at this point, even though I think Gary Trent Jr. could develop, could grow, and is a much better defender than Donovan Mitchell at this point of his career regardless. So I don't see us making a trade. However, it does impact the Kevin Durant situation, as teams like the Suns and the Heat, who are going hard after KD at this point, they need a third team to get involved. And the Utah Jazz, certainly, if they're willing to part ways with Donovan Mitchell, could be that third team. So something to keep an eye out for. No reported links on that front, but definitely something to discuss, to have a look at. So that's a Donovan Mitchell update. And the final thing I want to dive into in this video is we've got an amazing NBA rule change, which will have a positive benefit for the Raptors as well. Get a couple of rule league executive things, orders that they've implemented. The first thing isn't the rule change. It's the play-in tournament will be back, and it will be here essentially forever. They've locked it in. They've been doing it year-by-year basis in terms of adding the play-in tournament. And I love the play-in tournament. I think it's stupid that people complain about it. Makes if you're a 10th seed, if you're an 11th seed, if you're fighting for that stuff, it's just boring. The end of the season is just absolutely boring for your team. March, even the end of February for some squads, the season just gets lame. People start to tank, people start to do whatever. But if you're fighting for a play-in spot, if you're able to fight in for that one tournament, it makes the regular season games more exciting. And then the playing games are always great, man. We had that classic with the Lakers versus the Warriors last year. Playing games this year were pretty exciting, especially in the Western Conference. Love to see that back. That doesn't have a big effect on the Raptors because we're going to be a top 3 seed next season. Not top 4, top 3. Heard it here now. But we have the transition rule foul. When you get those take fouls in transition, it's no longer just a side out of bounds. It's going to be a foul, a free throw, and the ball back. So, hopefully that will discourage teams from just hacking players. And the Raptors obviously love to leak it out on the fast breaks. Pascal Siakam running. Christian Koloko is a guy who looks like he'll be able to run the floor. So, if the Raptors like to run the fast break, this is a positive for us. But positive for all NBA fans, because that just sucked. It sucked when players be doing that stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys are the best to make it this far. Check out the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. Also want to throw an update. The Discord link has been updated, and I made the link. I was putting links in the description. I know what's going on. That expired within 7 days. I posted them or I created them, but this one shouldn't expire. So let me know if it works. It should be good. The Discord's been popping off a little bit lately. Marcel's always killing on the Discord, but and everyone's chatting. I'm trying to get on there a little bit more myself, but yeah. We'll be there. And I got to respond to Instagram DMs as well. But you guys are best. I'm signing out. Cheers.